Hi there to you, it's great to see you, I hope I find you well. I'm Jennifer Kirk, welcoming you back up here to the loft on Weir Yard. Now today, we're going to salute our American cousins and a big shout out to Ken Patterson and all the crew over on What's Neat this week. What, you may ask, what is this about? Well, actually, I've been picking up a new US outline locomotive. Now this is another one of my new old stock finds, and it's from a shop that you might not readily associate with selling locomotives and rolling stock. But they do have some stuff left in stock back from when they had a shop over in Australia. When that closed down, the unsold stock was transferred over to their UK outlet up in Settle. I am, of course, talking about DCC Concepts. And I'm really pleased to have finally picked up a locomotive that I spent a long time whilst I worked there looking at longingly in the display cabinets, and that is the Pennsylvania Railroad GG1. Very Art Deco locomotive. It's an electric and it has a look all to itself, so I'm really pleased to have finally plucked up the courage to buy it, and I haven't been disappointed. So without further ado, let's take a closer look and I'll show you just what it is about the charm of this Bachmann model that's really sold me on some of these American outline models. Today's video comes in association with Trainomatic, makers of DCC decoders and accessories that are designed by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. Additional support for today's video comes to you in association with TMC, the Model Centre. Check them out at the URL link in the description down below, but without further ado, let's go all American and let's break out the GG1. I fell in love with this locomotive when I was working at DCC Concepts. They had it brand new in the cabinet, and I finally plucked up the courage to actually purchase it. It's brand new in box, and I do know it works because I tested it on numerous occasions. I think it actually starred in a couple of videos that I did for them. But it's a sound-fitted Bachmann locomotive from a number of years ago now, but it still looks pretty great. And one of the things about the US outline ranges is that they've always been somewhat far ahead of what we've had here in the UK. So you can see on the box we've got DCC sound value on board, and I'm not sure about these US ranges what that actually means. I don't know whether it's a plug-in decoder or whether it's one of these integrated ones. So I'm just going to show you there, item number 65303, HOGG1 DCC sound in the Pennsylvania Railroad Brunswick Green 5 stripers number 4935. And there's a little bit of shelf wear on the box, but that's to be expected. And I have a feeling that this may even have come from when the Australian shop shut down and they transferred a lot of the unsold stock over. So I'm just actually going to see if I can find a date anywhere on here. So I'm just looking, no, there's no date on that, although there is a date here which suggests 2013. So it's been in stock for quite some time, but these new old stock items can often be found at a really good price. And whilst DCC Concepts doesn't actively sell locomotives and rolling stock, it does have to be mentioned that they do have a number of predominantly US outline but also some Australian outline items still in stock, and you can still buy them from them, as proven by this. Now, one of the reasons I fell in love with this locomotive is it's got this kind of Art Deco style with these long bonnets front and back. And whilst it's got a representation of lights on there, I'm not actually sure which ones work and which ones are dummies. I think these do look to be dummies. But I also love these pantographs. And just going to see if we can get these to raise. Never quite sure whether we're going to be breaking them or not. You can see there it's got fully sprung loaded pantographs, and these are actually quite pleasing. They're the kind of diamond style pattern, and they're sprung loaded on the bottom. And I don't think that the locomotive would run from power in overhead lines, but certainly if you do have overhead line electrics, then this would follow those wires quite convincingly. I'm just going to click that back down into place. I'm not going to mess about with the one at the other end. It's likely to be exactly the same. For the rest of this locomotive, we've got a very intricate double bogie setup. So you can see here that these are a complete bogie to themselves, but on that bogie we have a secondary bogie at the front. So we've got this 4-6-6-4 wheel arrangement. Now the locomotive itself drives 6 axles, so they're all driven, and then we've got idlers on the front bogies, although it does look to be that it picks up power from front and back bogies, as well as I can see there we've got wipers on the backs of all of the wheels. The profile of these wheels is really quite interesting. I do love that really intricate kind of Y-spoke pattern that they've got in there, and these bogies do offer a wealth of detail, although the brake blocks don't actually line up with the wheels. They're moulded as part of the side frames. Although I suppose, this is a locomotive from, I'm thinking 2013, according to the paperwork, but certainly the tooling for this may well be somewhat older. The detail on the finish is quite nice. We've got a slightly gloss finish, and there's a lot of weight to this as well, I must add. And the actual finish on this classic Pennsylvania Railroad livery is really nice, and I do like this printed logo on the side there, which you can see there with the R, the P and the R all intertwined with each other in almost, I'm going to call that the Heinz Beans label. It's very reminiscent of the label on a can of Heinz Beans. We've also got some separately applied detail, including these window bars here. I'm not really quite sure why they would have needed them. People try and break in through the windows. Not entirely sure. And then we've got some actually quite resilient steps just underneath there. They're moulded from some springy plastic, but do feel to be pretty well in place. Looking into the cabs, I can't see any cab detail. It's very difficult to see anything at all. I don't think that there's a detailed cab interior, but in all honesty, it doesn't really need it. We've got some more of these window bars too. The actual visibility from these must have been woeful, because we've got that central cab, but then we've got these huge bonnets sticking out either side, which effectively means that this locomotive probably had quite poor visibility in both directions. Roof detail is fairly limited on the cab itself. We do have some raised detail, but then there's this quite complex shape with the tumble home at the sides, and I just love these front bonnets with, again, really quite intricate Art Deco inspired curves and all manner of things on there. These grills are moulded on, and particularly nice is the finish where this stripe goes across the grills. There's no distortion or fuzziness, and then we've got the speed whiskers to the front. We've also got connecting doors front and back, which also have that Heinz Beans logo and the locomotive running number of 4907. And all in all, it really is a nice piece to pick up, and I got it for a pretty reasonable price because it's new old stock, and the fact that it's sound fitted as well. It's a really good bargain, I think. Now I've moved my microphone right next to the locomotive so I can work through the different sound functions. Now I don't get a list with this. I suspect the paperwork's gone missing over the last 9 years whilst it's been in storage as new old stock. But I'm just going to work through the different functions. And I have to say the horn is really nice. There's a good resonance to that, which does make it sound like it's got a real presence. And let's move through some of the other sound functions. I'm just going to work through the different F keys on the NCE power cab. As per the usual US practice, F8 just mutes the sound. So if we start her up again. And as you can hear, pressing F8, the sound fades away if you just want to kill the sound. And then if we press F8 again, the sound fades back up. I'll be really pleased to add this to my US outline fleet. It's something that I do want to do in the near future, is build a US outline model. Now, it has to be said that I do have a quite eclectic collection of locomotives, with a Burlington Northern GP40, a Niagara 484 from New York Central. This Pennsylvania Railroad GG1 now is the newest edition, and then I've got a Union Pacific Yellow Alco A and B unit as well. So bit of an eclectic mix. Would like to get myself a decent switcher, and I don't know whether any of the American audience would be able to point me in the direction of something like a Plymouth shunter, one of those really nice small shunters that would be perfect for a minimum space layout, because it has to be remembered that here in the UK space is at a premium, so I don't really have room for one of those huge basement layouts which really do look great, such as Ken Patterson's. Really love his layout, which is just perfect for watching trains run. In terms of running of this locomotive, it is pretty reliable actually, and we've got the KDs on either end, so it is a perfect match with the rest of my US outline stock. And they are actually, I'm not sure what kind of sockets they're in, but I'm not entirely convinced that I could change them for UK outline couplings. But in terms of running, it runs really well. There's a lot of articulation between the different bogies, which means that it does manage some really tight curves, and it also manages the gradients really, really well. The 12-wheel drive on this locomotive also makes sure that it has very good haulage power. Well, I hope you really enjoyed today's video. Would you like to see more of these US outline models? I'd love to hear from you in the comments section down below. And what did you think of this? It might be an older Bachmann model, and we reckon probably about 9 years this has been languishing in the box. But do you think it really does still stand up to modern standards? And certainly, what did you think of the value sound that Bachmann are selling, or were selling, this model with? Again, love to hear from you in the comments section down below. Also, don't forget that you can become a Jenny Monday Club channel member. Just click on the membership button, and that will give you early access to the Friday videos, advert free, and a number of other perks in the Monday Club chat. But until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying don't forget to tickle that like button, share this video, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Until next time, take care, happy modelling, and bye for now. Today's video is sponsored by Train-O-Matic, makers of DCC decoders designed to be fully compatible with every manufacturer's locomotive. Visit train-o-matic.com to browse the full range and see what they've got suitable for you. Additional support for today's video comes to you in association with TMC, the Model Centre. Check them out at the URL link in the description down below for a fully stocked and comprehensive website that covers products from a whole host of different manufacturers. They're also home to the unique custom weathering service for that bespoke finish that cannot be rivaled, and indeed also that custom graffiti that gives your wagons that personal touch. You can also visit them in their North Yorkshire showroom for a fully stocked and friendly visit. I'd like to send out a huge thanks to everybody who supports me on Patreon, and an extra special huge thanks goes out to Anthony Kidson, Offshore Allen, Michael Lockie, Helen Sink, Gary Lewis, David Quinn, Sparky 107107, George Botterini, Chris Moss, Robert Steers, Sam Yates, Dale Williams, John N. from NC, NYMRish, Jonathan Foster, Peter, Clifford Ison, Larry W. Grant, NI Railways 4000 class, Ian Coulson, Alan Dickerson, Eddie Popper, Karen Nichol, Medwin Williams, Crossways Point Junction, 3B Rail, and Jennifer Garrett. Thank you. Without you guys, I couldn't do this.